Hello and welcome to Spectrum News at 12. I am Janice Cobham coming to you live from the beautiful hills of Ibiakuran. Let's take a look at the headlines. Federal government blames theft as Nigeria's 9 trillion naira oil revenue is threatened. IGP Alkali Baba raises alarm over plots to attack public facilities. Plus, Russia vows to expand relations with North Korea. We will bring you details of these stories and more in a moment. Thanks for joining us on the news at 12. First in our news today is a report that Nigeria's oil production has slumped by 28 million barrels between January and July 2022, threatening the federal government's 9.37 trillion naira oil and gas revenue target by the end of the year. The federal government, in the 2023 to 2035 medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper, recently presented by the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, blamed oil production shortens due to pipeline vandalization, crude oil theft, and high petrol subsidy costs. Reports say after posting a high crude oil production figure of 1.399 million barrels per day in January 2022, Nigeria's production crashed to as low as 1.084 million barrels per day in July, which means the country lost about 315,000 barrels of crude oil daily, amounting to 28.4 million barrels of oil during the 6-month interval. Recall that the Group Chief Executive Officer, Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited, Mele Kyari, who had stated that the NNPC was partnering with security agencies and other stakeholders to tackle the menace, also cautioned refineries outside Nigeria that patronize dealers of stolen crude oil to desist from such acts. We move now to the legislature, where the Senate's Public Accounts Committee, SPAC, has put the current and past management of the Nigeria Social Insurance Trust Fund NSITF under scrutiny. The committee said it discovered that the fund's management failed to produce relevant documents to justify alleged spending of 17.158 billion naira in 2013, noting that some of the documents to back the expenses were said to have been eaten up by termites. Recall that the NSITF failed to submit its annual financial statement since 2010. The Office of the Auditor General of the Federation, in its 2018 audit report now being considered by the Senate panel chaired by Senator Matthew Urogide, Edo South had queried the agency over the disbursed sums without appropriate supporting documents. In his report, the AUGF said the 17.158 billion naira represented the total sum of money transferred by the agency from its Sky and First Bank accounts into various untraceable accounts belonging to individuals and companies. Development Inspector General of Police IGP Usman Alkali has raised the alarm over a plot by criminal elements to attack public institutions and structures across the country. He ordered tight security. According to a statement by the Force Public Relations Officer CSP Ulu, by taking the fight against crime to the doorpost, charged those found wanting to court, and compassion in line with the policing theme of the Buhari administration. Project Sarab has asked the Independent National Electoral Commission by its Deputy Director Kolawole Oluwadare disclose that out of over 10 million Nigerians who carried out their pre-registration vote is also the right to be given the time and opportunity. Meanwhile, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) says the All Progressive President Ahmed Lawan, who represents Yobe North, is battling to get the party's ticket after losing the APC presidential primary. On the other hand, former Akwa Ibom State Governor seat, Akpabio also vied for the APC presidential race senatorial zones during the 2023 general. Away from that now, an Apex Igbo socio-cultural group, Ohaneze Igbo Worldwide, has urged the federal government to transfer the case home. It faltered a claim by the Attorney General of the